Hello folks, welcome to a new series. Anybody who is new to the channel, welcome, thank you for tuning in. If anybody here has watched my previous series, just kind of want to let you know on that map, the Michigan Prairie map, all of the fields were extremely large and the rewards were very, very high. Several of the harvesting contracts, you can make upwards of $250,000 just on one contract. So this is going to be a big change. The reason I'm not continuing with that series is my hard drive crashed. It was corrupted apparently somehow, and I had to buy a new M2 hard drive. And the people who fixed my computer, because I didn't know what was wrong initially, they wiped all 3 of my hard drives, so I lost everything I've ever had. So this is all brand new now. So we're going to start off on one of my favorite maps, which is a included map with the game, Zielonka. It's got a lot of different fields, it's got a lot of smaller fields, and we're going to start a rags to riches run. A little bit different this time. I'm going to start with, as you can see up in the upper right corner, a $250,000 bankroll. The problem with the bankroll is it's a 100% loan, so we have to pay back $250,000. We start with nothing, no land, no equipment, no anything. Some self-imposed rules. I cannot take out any additional loan. I can use AI workers, but I'm going to limit myself. Let's say if I have 2 tractors running, then one has to be operated by me and the other one can be operated by an AI, or like a harvester can be operated by AI if I'm driving the truck, stuff like that. But I can't just have like 7 or 8 AI workers running across the map. Another thing is I'm allowing myself to, when AI workers are using equipment, they can use the refill buttons. So if it's like somebody's doing a fertilizing contract, they actually don't pull from my fertilizer that's in there. They purchase their own, and the cost gets pulled back to me instantly. And one other thing that the goal, I guess, let's talk about that. The goal is we want to buy land. We want to get enough land to have a sustainable farm with several different crops going, production chains, and I want to be able to use the Nextat equipment. And anybody who's seen that stuff knows it's over $1 million for that stuff. So getting to that is going to be a challenge. So let's hop into this. I do have a bug that I have to warn you about. When you open this map, you'll notice it does a slow zoom out. I have not been able to fix it. I do know what's causing it, but I can't get rid of it. But it's only in this view, or when I'm purchasing something, it does it very slowly. It's almost unnoticeable though on that. I have crop destruction off, and I have no lime required. Everything else is left on, and we'll kind of just jump right into it. Another thing, it's a self-imposed rule. I'm not allowed to rent or lease equipment. So anything that I have here in the contracts to start, because that's the only thing I'm going to be able to make money from, I have to purchase the equipment for it. So as you can see, we've got a deadwood. We will do a lot of deadwood stuff initially because that's just an upfront $1,000 cost to buy a chainsaw. And eventually, when I own something to use wood, like one of the sawmills, I will use the deadwood to refill that. So initially, we have a hoeing contract. I'll get a hoe. Those are pretty inexpensive, and just getting a hoe and a tractor will be very useful, just in general. There's a spraying contract. Sprayers are quite a bit more expensive, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that initially. And then as the day progresses, these will expand because I have I've got a mod that gives you a lot more contracts. Okay. So I also have one mod. It's an expanded sale mod, so there's a lot more vehicles for sale. So let's see what they gave us. Anybody who watched my first series, though, saw that I had a ton more available used vehicles, and I scaled that way back. So let's see what we got here. Forage wagons we don't need. This is the small water tank, yes. Big cedar, or that's not a cedar, it's a big planter. We will be using those types of crops, but I don't need anything that big initially. So this money has to last us a long time. So be very careful what we purchase here. This might not be a bad idea if we want to get into something that requires transport of vehicles, and we can put pallets on it. Because I do want to get a greenhouse up and running as soon as possible as well. Slurry tanker, yeah. Transport, log transport. Those are good contracts to get, but I would rather just use the trailer and an 18-wheeler. Auger wagon, yeah. We're not going to be getting into beets. There is really nothing good here. This is sad. We got a lawnmower, the big plow. Well, that's not the biggest, but it's a big plow. Forage wagon, yeah. I've got, these sales are horrible. There's nothing here. So I'm going to be paying full price for my initial equipment. So let's look and see what we can find. So we can start out with probably one of the best, or not best, but the easiest choices. Getting the original John Deere. It's a good entry-level tractor. It gives you 116 horse. It's a slower speed. I have everything in miles per hour and imperial units and dollars in case anybody sees those stuff. Since I'm playing from the U.S. So if we double the price, we're not going to get much in the form of horsepower. We get a couple of miles an hour. And the rest of these tractors don't really give you a lot, especially for the price. So I think I'm going to stick with the John Deere. I think that's a really good first choice. See if I can get some... Does this have wheel weights? I don't think it does. No, it does not. That's too bad. Okay, so we'll get the standard. I do want a 3-point attachment, and I do want a front loader just to start with. is there. Apparently my mic muted. So we're going to get things hooked up. Purchased the hoe. I purchased a spreader and a sprayer just for the contract stuff, because I know they're going to come up, and those are very good makers of profit. So we don't have any land, as discussed, so our first thing we're going to do is we're going to work our way towards land. Okay, but I am going to get this contract, so we do have several more. Perfect. So we've got a good one here. There's a $5,000. This is great because this gets us almost paying for a quarter of that. And then we've got a weeding, which is good too. And these 2 sprayers. So here's the problem. I'm not allowed to lease the equipment. So in order to do a lot of different things, I'm going to have to buy a second tractor. Got $100,000. So right now, with $100,000, I really can't buy anything. So I'm going to start moving this down towards field number 88. And we'll start the hoeing process. And after this is complete, that will give us about, I think it said it was $5,000. So as we're doing this, we'll kind of look and discuss about getting another tractor. So I'd like to run 2. Just not necessarily to save time or anything, but just to get things rolling in a little bit faster. So like I said, I can do one AI and me running another one. So initially I can only run 2 contracts at the same time. As we progress, though, I will lessen that restriction a little bit, to where as long as I'm running a machine, and I'll allow myself another AI worker here or there, just so it's not game breaking. So let's discuss some of the mods that I have. So I've got several mods installed. Most of them are quality of life mods. They do not affect gameplay. Like in the upper right corner, you'll see it gives us extra information. So I have extra field information. I've got better lighting on the equipment. Stuff, just basic stuff like that. Nothing that adds yet gives me free money, or nothing that gives me free equipment or anything like that. All right, so right now we're gonna let this go to an AI worker. He's going to start the hoeing process. I'm going to jump out and go back to the shop. So we're going to use the shop as like our base of operations right now, because we don't have any land. So the next thing we might do, we're either looking at getting another tractor or getting some land. Now the problem with getting land is it doesn't really get us anything right away. We don't get any initial benefit from it. Even if it's got something that can be harvested, I don't have a harvester. So a lot of times what I like to grab is this plot of land right here, because it's just picturesque. It's very nice. It puts me right next to the grain mill, which is what I use to kind of gauge where I am on the map, because I don't have this map memorized anymore. Another place is down here. This is very expensive though, because this plot of land is nice and flat. Not a lot is needed to even it out. And then this one's a little bit more reasonable. It's got a little bit of this pond here though. So in order to buy this land, which it looks like I'm going to be stuck doing this one again, $81,000, and then we'll start, working out greenhouses. And I got into the on my last series, I got into the mushroom greenhouses, which I'd never done before, and I didn't get a chance to harvest any of them or sell them, and before I lost the game. So we'll see. This piece of land is not bad. It's a little bit hilly, but it's also very far north. I like the center of this map, because contracts are going to be a very big part of our initial several episodes before we start getting some equipment and some land. So most likely I will purchase this, but right now I want to build up a little bit of money, because that'll take me all the way down to 20,000, and I won't even be able to get a greenhouse up and running, let alone any other equipment. So let's see what popped up on contracts. We had another weeder. And that hoeing is original. These spraying contracts probably wouldn't be too bad. So I don't remember if hoeing contracts or the hoe works for weeding contracts. I think it does. We'll go look and test, because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm probably gonna grab this sprayer contract because it's $5,000. And one of my mods gives me extra contracts, so I think I can have a total of 6 contracts at once as opposed to 3. And we'll be doing a lot of these deadwood ones. Like I said, it's just extra money for very little gain, or for very little loss. My initial cost is only $1,000 to buy a chainsaw, and then I just cut them down and leave them initially until we can get the processing center to the sawmill. All right, so let me go look at. So this weeder, this pulls out small growth, and it says this pulls out medium. So these are the same thing. At least it says they are. So this should work. You know, I'm going to give it a shot. Because it says it's all in the first growing stages of crops. These are all the same, right? Okay, well, hopefully that works. If not, I can always pick up this weeder. It's really, really cheap. But these are good. So I will pick up that weeding contract as well. Just because it's an extra almost 4,000. The problem is it's way up there. Where is this other weeding contract? Is it close by? 5. Yeah, it's right across the street. Yeah, we'll grab it. All right, so we got all these going. I am going to good harvesting contract. 14,000. The only problem is I don't have, well, number one, I don't have a harvester or a way of pulling the equipment or the grain out of the harvester, or anywhere to store it when I've got that little bit left over. So I think harvesting's out of the realm of possibilities right now. I would like to get into wood transport, but again, that's going to require a truck, a trailer, and some way to load it. Probably a skid loader. So I like a skid loader. So now we might be looking at purchasing another tractor. I think these are going to be out. So the Challenger is good. It doesn't have anything on the front. It doesn't have a 3-point or anything like that. Most of these tractors that are not super expensive do not have that. So I'm not going to get a second John Deere. That would kind of defeat the purpose. Some of these are not bad. The Dutes Far is got some more horsepower. It's quite a bit faster. The price is about double of that John Deere. So what is the upgrades? The Warrior does nothing but aesthetics, I think, right? Yeah. So we can do a front loader. We don't need it. It's got that front 3-point. We can put some wheel weights on it. And it's still $100,000. So that's going to bankrupt us. I don't think that's possible right now. I really wish there was one on sale. I definitely do not want to buy two of the same. That just seems kind of silly. So what else we got? We've got this. And it has a front hookup. I don't think it's got a PTO on it. It kind of looks like it does. But it's a very small tractor. And to get something where it's the same as that John Deere roughly is another $20,000. $80,000. Okay. We're going to wait for something to come on sale. This vehicle right here on sale would be ideal. Let's see. This is a little bit smaller. Yeah. Not really a super fan of the Colossus, but you know, that's neither here nor there. Let's see if anything else came on sale. Nope. Alright, so we just kind of need to go and grab the hoe. He's almost done. Doing a great job. And once he is done, we will go over to the weeding contracts at 13 and 5, since we've already got it on. And I'm going to have to put the map because this is all the way up, correct? What was 50? Spring. Okay, so we got to go all the way to the top of the map and then turn there. Okay, so this should be it. What else does he have to do? Oh, he's got the edge. So he did the headlands last. Okay. That's the problem with the AI that I find is they don't shortcut anything. Everything has to be perfectly exact. The backup, pull up the weeder. Whereas if you're driving it, you're just driving it. He's not going to finish this, so it should be done here. Okay, very good. Okay. And the setup I'm running, you guys might be able to hear it in the background when I have my cruise control on. I'm using a Thrustmaster 248, and I use the paddle shifter for the cruise control. So you might hear that, and that's just me turning my cruise control on. I don't know why, I just got used to using it. It's very loud, so I apologize for that. Also in my setup, I use the pedals that came with the 248, the T3PM, I think they're called, I'm not sure. Really good pedals. I'd like to get the TLCMs, and I found some for a very reasonable price, but don't really have that in the cards right now. I also am running a Thrustmaster Farm Stick, which is a great addition. If you can get it, it's a real good purchase, real good pickup for this. And I have the 248 set up in the Farm Task. I don't know what you would call it. It just turns the wheel almost vertical, so it's like you're driving a real tractor or a tractor trailer, or a truck tractor, excuse me. It just it's more immersive, and it gives you the little spinner knob so you can whip the wheel back and forth. And I'm also using a Razer half keyboard, the old Razer Tataris, which are not that easy to find nowadays. I guess they're out of production, but I like it. It's very good. So when I move to a skid steer, the only problem with using this setup is it constantly is going to move back and forth, so I will most likely be using the half keyboard to move that, and it's very loud and clicky. So if we get to that point, I apologize, you're probably going to hear that noise. So for some reason, my wheel is not centered. So right now I'm going straight, but it's kind of angled to the left from my point of view, so I might have to fiddle with that a little bit. It's not a concern that you guys probably need to know. So those of you who have not watched my first series, this is basically my first attempt at doing this. I've never recorded before. I used to stream on Twitch many years ago, almost 10 years ago now, probably 2016-ish, 2015. I honestly don't even remember how long ago it was. And I'm just kind of doing this as I don't know if you call it therapy, but just something for me, because this is kind of fun for me. I'm enjoying doing it. What wage payment was just made? Because I'm running this myself. I don't know. So the job I do, my real life job, is very stressful. I work 12 hours a day, and right now I work in the middle of the night all night, so me being able to record is kind of just on my days off. So this first series will you guys most likely will not see it right away when I record it, because on top of my job being a little bit stressful, I also have some good news that me and my family, we have just purchased a new house, and we will be moving to that new house here in about 2 weeks. So me being able to, okay, yeah, the hose not working, so I do need a weeder for this. So anybody who's ever moved from houses to house knows that it's not exactly a fun time. It's stressful. There's a lot of ins and outs, and I got to set everything back up. Got to move everything. You know how that can be. But we're moving to a better house, a bigger house, more amenities for the kids, and it's a lot closer to their school. That's the main thing. So this is being recorded on the 8th of April. So you probably won't see this until May. So I'm going to bring all of this stuff back down to the shop, because that's kind of where we're going to have everything hang out for now. I'm going to pick up that weeder, and then we'll look at these other weeders, because some of them get to be pretty enormous. I like this area right here. These fields usually are what I buy first. There's that little bump that's always there until you purchase these fields and you're able to terraform a little bit, or you can do the terraform anywhere mod, but I don't have that. Also, those of you watching, just one thing, like this little piece of land right here on the left, this is what I'll most likely end up buying. That's the $80,000 piece. But you're watching this in 2K, 1440 is how it's set up. My monitor is huge though. It's it's one of those ultra wide 45-inch. I don't recall off the top of my head now. But it's a really sweet monitor. The only problem is when I translate that, if you watch my other series, you'll see it doesn't translate well to what most people view. So I have it set up to where you guys are watching it in a scaled down version of what I can see. So you guys can only see about half my screen right now, which is not a bad thing, but it looks really weird when you watch it on. Go watch my other series real quick, like the first episode, and you can see what I'm talking about. It just scales everything very weird, and this way it keeps the resolution really high, which is what I wanted. So let's hop in here, No used vehicles. We'll jump down, we'll grab the weeder. So this one's 6,000 and it's 6 meters, or I could double it for a lot more. Speed of 7. Do I need anything this crazy right away though? I don't think I do. This one also plants grass though. You know, that might not be a bad idea because they're definitely going to do that. I do want to get into cows at some point, so obviously I'm going to need silage for TMR. I don't think I want to spend that amount of money right now, though. I never knew that this one had its own seeder, though. That's interesting. Yeah, we're just going to buy this. Just so we can do these contracts. And actually, these contracts will be paid for by the first two contracts. So that's helpful. Alright, so this first episode is going to be kind of short. Like I said, it's mostly just a setup. Kind of explain everything. We'll do a couple of contracts and work our way towards our first big goal. I think our first goal is going to be to get this piece of land because I want to have income rolling in beyond contracts, so that's going to require me to get either a sawmill, greenhouses, or both would be preferable. But I do like to get the greenhouses rolling right away. Alright, so we're going to run up here. We're going to start the weeder, and that'll probably finish out this episode. These 2 weeding contracts. That should bring us back over 100,000. So we've already spent well over half of our initial capital, and the only thing we have to show for it is a sprayer, a tractor, a weeder, a hoe, and the fertilizer. And most of those things I need a second tractor to get rolling, so we can't even really reap the benefits of half of the stuff I've bought because I can't afford to run it right now. I can't afford another tractor to run it, but we'll get there. Straight ahead, correct? Yes. This field right here to my left looks like it needs some weeding. Okay, so we're just going to go straight through. Now, I don't like to drive across people's fields. Like I said, I do have crop destruction off, but it still doesn't feel right. I don't like doing that. All right, so we're going to set this guy up. We're going to turn on our lines. I've got to set this up for the steering assist, and I don't know why I never do. It must auto default to the AI worker. All right, but we're gonna roll this guy. Make sure I'm lined up. All right, so now we're weeding, and then 13's just over there to our right, across this little road. And I cannot tell with whatever crop this is. I can't tell if we're hitting these. Well, I'm way off on that. That's the thing about the contracts is, you know, you don't have to be 100%, so just kind of got to get close. There is a mod, and I kind of want to try it out to where once you complete the contract, you can still finish, because most of these contracts still leave you quite a bit of like leftover, I guess you'd call it. To where if you're doing like if you're doing a mowing contract, let's say, you don't finish the mowing. So it just looks weird. It looks unfinished. It looks, you know, unprofessional. I don't know. That's just my opinion on the matter. But there is a way, there is a mod that you can do. You can change that. And I don't want to go mod crazy because I've done that in the past where I've gone mod crazy. There's no point having like 100 mods installed. It's just it's a whole different game then. Like I said, there's really only 2 mods that I have installed, and I probably won't use one of them that you would consider to be cheating. And one of them is a harvester. And I really like the harvester. It's a John Deere harvester. It's got a massive tank or a massive hopper. That's kind of the reason I like it. Is you can upgrade it to get like 20,000 liters of grain. So you don't have to empty it, you know, every 5 minutes. And going back to that last map I was on, which was the Prairie, Michigan one, and you'd have fields that, you know, would be close to 100 of these ones that I'm doing right now. Literally 100 times the size, where it would take you 3 hours to harvest it. And the price on it was ridiculously low. It was like $140,000 for the harvester. But once you upgrade it, it's quite a bit more. But I just really like the play of it. It was really nice. About 100% sure I've already weeded this spot, but we'll just hit it again because why not? So I might buy that one. The other one is an auto-loading forestry trailer, where you just pull up next to the logs and it loads them up for you. That's it. That's very cheating. And I think it's fun to use, but I won't be using that in this playthrough. Like I said, it is installed, but it won't be used. Alright, so probably one more line after this. It should be sufficient. And then we'll jump over to the next one. Maybe we're going to need 2. I'm not sure. Yeah, so you guys can probably hear me whipping my wheel around every now and then. Apologies again if that's an issue. Oh, I see a little weed to my right there. We probably won't need to do it. Yeah, I just moved. It's not a big deal. Alright, so we'll lift you guys up. We're going to keep this extended though, because it's just got to get across here. Boom! Alright, cool. Alright, so let me make sure that this is the right field. See, I've been wrong. It's this one up here. Alright, so we're going to do this bad boy. Alright, we're going to get rolling here. This one's going to take a little bit longer. Nowhere near what I'm used to, but my first playthrough, the only real complaint I received was guys were saying, you know, this the rewards you're getting are way too much. Like I said, you get $250,000 for one harvesting contract. You get $150,000 for a fertilizing contract. I mean, they were massive fields, so it wasn't terribly hard to gather money. I think in the first or second episode, it was 1 or 2 hours into the run. I already had a couple greenhouses, several barns, pretty much enough equipment to do your basic stuff. Big tractor trailer. I think I had a triple hopper trailer set up for grain and stuff like that, and you know, I could do huge contracts. And I was already out of debt, I believe. So, it was a little too easy. This is going to be way harder because these contracts are much smaller. And it's going to take me a lot longer to work this debt down. A lot longer. which that's, you know, kind of what I want to do. That seems to be the fun of it. So also, this field, which I usually never buy, has a big upslope, and this little tractor is struggling to get up this hill. Going down is not hard, but going up was kind of brutal. This thing was hard. It was struggling. So I don't usually buy land up here on this top of the map because all the fields are like this. I usually tend to stay down by that grain mill. A lot of that stuff is really, it's not necessarily flat, but it's not massive hills either. And it's just easier for terraforming and stuff. You know, if I want to put buildings down, I want it to be flat because I don't want the lips or the edges of whatever I put down to have giant lips on them, which usually tends to happen. Alright, so we're going to roll this out, and as soon as this is done, I will get back with you guys, and we will probably call the episode at the end of that. We're gonna just take this bad guy, or this sprayer back. We're gonna take this weeder back, hook up the sprayer, and we'll probably do that contract. But for now, I'm gonna leave you guys with that, and hopefully you get something out of this. If you don't mind, go ahead and spread the word. I'm not trying to make a career or anything out of this. Like I said, it's just kind of an outlet for me, for my mental health. And if people enjoy it, so be it. But if anybody has any questions or anything, feel free to comment. I will reply as soon as I can, and hopefully you'll come back for the next one. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, keep the rubber side down.